Trust in an Unfailing God by Susan Mitchell. When she could hide him no longer, she took for him a basket made of bulrushes and daubed it with bitumen and pitch. She put the child in it and placed it among the reeds by the riverbank. Exodus chapter 2, verse 3. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you feel apprehension, uncertainty, and even fear? As a registered nurse in the operating room, I often saw those very emotions reflected in my patients' eyes. I had minutes to build trust. I would usually say something like, "Hello, my name is Susan, and I am going to be with you today as you go through your procedure. I will be with you when you fall asleep and when you wake up." It was amazing how those few words, accompanied by a smile and genuine care, built trust and reassurance. In today's scripture, we read about a remarkable woman named Jochebed who lived in Egypt. Exodus chapter 2, verse 3 says, "When she could hide him no longer, she took for him a basket made of bulrushes and daubed it with bitumen and pitch. She put the child in it and placed it among the reeds by the riverbank." Jochebed came from the tribe of Levi. According to tradition, the Levites maintained stricter adherence to the monotheistic faith of their ancestors than the other tribes, which were influenced by the surrounding Egyptian culture. Jochebed grew up in a household that had faith and trust in Yahweh. Abraham was Levi's great-grandfather. As a young child, Jochebed would have heard how Abraham abandoned the idols and pagan worship around him in Mesopotamia and placed his faith and trust in God. When Jochebed gave birth to Moses, she knew the desperate situation she faced. A new king ruled in Egypt, and he was ruthless. He saw that the Israelite population around him was increasing. He ordered the midwives to kill the baby boys. However, the Hebrew midwives feared God and refused to obey his command. For the first 3 months of Moses' life, Jochebed managed to hide him. The day Moses began to cry a little louder, she had to make a life-changing decision. Would she accept the inevitable, or would she find another way? She decided to trust God not only for the immediate, but for her child's life, whatever that might bring. As she placed Moses in the basket, the future was uncertain. Jochebed knew that the God of Abraham was the one she could trust with her son's life. She surrendered her fear and control and chose to trust. We know how the story unfolds. God used Moses in remarkable ways to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt's bondage and into the promised land. Because of Jochebed's trust, God used Moses to deliver the nation of Israel from oppression and bondage. What negative events from your past have made it difficult for you to trust God? How do you imagine life would change if you learned to trust God more? Reflect on the practical steps you can take to surrender control and cultivate faith and trust in God.